Hey guys, what is going on? Happy Monday. This is the week of the Wyndham Championship, but holy cow, we did it again. So we hit Abraham Ancer over the weekend, 40 to 1. He probably didn't have any business winning it, thanks to one Harris English and Bryson DeChambeau, who looked like they were going to be the 1-2 punch to take it down. They ended up finding the water a whole bunch of times on the back, opened things up for a playoff, and our guy, Abraham Ancer, came through, making a birdie on the second playoff hole. So it was pretty freaking exciting. I hope you guys, I truly hope you guys decided to follow along and tail this week, because you probably had a really nice big week too. That's why we're doing this, right? So we've now hit 2 outright winners in the last 7 weeks, and we've had, I think, at least 4 or 5 really close calls, a couple second place finishes. Like, we are in business, guys. So this has been an absolute blast, and yesterday, true to form, definitely a hell of a sweat. So, oh man. So we're set up really well for this week's Wyndham Championship. So we're going to do a little bit of a course breakdown, talk about some of the key stats. Tomorrow, I'll put out a video with my model for the week, highlighting the bets that I like. On Wednesday, we'll do a Draftkings update, but let's just take a step back before we get into the Wyndham. Just reflect on how awesome the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational was. It's always a fun event, TPC Southwind, but it's even that much more fun when you got a mid-range, not a long shot, but I guess respective to some of the top guys in the field, Ancer could be considered a long shot. So it's even more better when you pull that off. So let's take a step back, take the W, right, and then we move on to the next week. So on to the Wyndham Championship. So Wyndham Championship played at Sedgefield Country Club. So Sedgefield is basically the backyard to one Webb Simpson. He plays this every year. He absolutely loves this course. You'll hear probably 40 times this week about how he named his daughter Wyndham after the Wyndham Championship. So I don't know. Not much to say. You should probably play Webb, at least get some exposure to Webb this week. But in terms of the course itself, it's a short Bermuda track. It's about 7,000 yards, par 70, Bermuda greens, obviously. So name of the game this week is going to be approach and putting on Bermuda. And if you can do that, you're probably going to be in good shape. I will say, the Wyndham Championship has not been super kind to me. I mean, overall, right, I feel like we've had some good runs here the last couple of years. But last year, Jim Herman won this event kind of out of nowhere. And I think he was like 600 to 1. And I had a Billy Horschel ticket. Billy Horschel was leading with 3 holes to play. Jim Herman, of all people, decides to make like a 50-footer for eagle on like the last par 5. And Billy Horschel just ended up finishing, I think, 1 shot back. Is absolutely one of the most heartbreaking experiences I think I've ever had since I was doing this. So the Wyndham, not necessarily bringing some good vibes for me, but I think the year before that too, I think it was at the Wyndham, I had a Benny On ticket, and he was in the final pairing and just came out and completely crapped the bed. So that one I can live with, because you don't necessarily expect him to win, but like Billy Horschel being up by 1 or 2 over Jim Herman, you kind of expect to take that, but we did not. So anyway, that's golf. That's why it's fun. For all of those examples, we get things breaking our way yesterday with Abraham Ancer. So anyway, Wyndham Championship, Sedgefield Country Club. So again, nothing like too crazy or special about this place, in my opinion. Again, short Bermuda track. It's a little bit more technical, so you just got to be dialed in on approach. We do have a couple longer par 3s here, so we're going to be taking a look at that, I'd imagine. You'll see in a second, like, some of these holes are definitely gettable. It's going to be a birdie fest, so we got to find guys that can score and put together some really low rounds. In terms of the quality of the field, so in terms of just over the last 50 rounds, Fantasy National, Louis Oosthuizen, number 1 in the field in strokes gained total, Jason Kokrak, Patrick Reed, Webb's number 6, Brian Harmon, Johnny Vegas. So this is, the studs in this field, probably, obviously Webb, Patrick Reed, who's playing again, which is just kind of insane to me. But whatever. It's Patrick Reed, Kokrak, like this. That's the cream of the crop this week. it's not the strongest field that you will see. So it's going to be a week that we can take some flyers down the board for sure. So get exposure to maybe more guys at lower odds and hope we find the right ones. So you can definitely anchor on guys. It's not going to surprise me at all if, someone like Webb does win. But as well as he's played here, he only has one win over the years. So, he's usually finishing top 5, but I think one year he missed the cut. But other than that, he's been pretty solid. So, but he hasn't necessarily won this thing that often. So I do think it's opened for a few more guys. Historically, as I mentioned, we got Bermuda greens. Hitting fairways is not generally a challenge. 7,200 yards. Donald Ross design. So again, it's a little bit more technical, but nothing really to write home about here. Fast Bermuda greens, got to be able to putt. In terms of the scorecard, what you'll notice is that we do have some pretty strong birdie holes, and actually the 2 par 5s are quite gettable from an eagle perspective. So this is the 15 was the one that Jim Herman made a 50-foot bomb last year. I will never forget that. So thanks, Jim Herman. But anyway, definitely got some birdie holes, right? 5, 6 of them birdie holes. You got some holes that are a little bit more tricky. The 18th is the longest par 4. Like that one is definitely tricky. So should make for some exciting drama coming in the home stretch on Sunday. But the thing that really stands out to me, really the 2 long par 3s. And then the other par 3s are in that like 175 range. So maybe something to look at. Par 3 scoring, I don't think it's necessarily like, going to make or break a decision on somebody, but something we'll definitely take a look at. And in terms of, the par 5s, you definitely got to get there in 2, gives yourself a chance with eagles. I think that also helps for sure. So in terms of stroke gain per round for the finishers, again, approach and putting, name of the game. Ball striking is more important here than, maybe other places. So I think it's going to be really important, obviously, this week. This is something that I think is going to be really important this week. So your par 4s between 400 and 450 yards. So we'll probably take a look at that, who's excelling in that range. The other thing that we're going to take a look at, almost 30% of the approach shots this week are going to be from 150 to 175 yards. So we're going to put a lot more weight on that side of things as well. And maybe if you're a little longer off the tee, we'll bring in 125 to 150. If you're a little shorter, you're probably going to be hitting, 175 plus a few more times. So I haven't decided yet, but might stratify the model based on driving distance. That said, a lot of the field is pretty short this week in terms of driving distance. You don't have a ton of bombers because you don't have the cream of the crop in terms of the field. So it may really be 125 to 150, 150 to 175 kind of guiding us here from a model perspective. In terms of driving accuracy, I don't think there's really anything to talk about. Scrambling, if you're missing greens, you're not going to be in good shape anyway, but it is at least easier to scramble here maybe than the average course. And in terms of, so driving distance, you don't need to bomb it off the tee. It's not much of an advantage here. It's also a function of the people playing the Wyndham Championship. You usually don't get like John Rahm or any of those guys anyway, but either way, hitting fairways, dialed in with the irons, making a ton of putts, like that is going to be the name of the game this week. So let's take a look at last year in terms of the leaderboard. So you'll see Jim Herman. This is going to be cringe a week for me. Jim Herman took it down, 21 under par. Billy Horschel, 20 under. Kevin Kisner, Webb Simpson, Siwoo in the mix. Doc Redman, when he was in really good form, finished tied for 3rd as well. Harold Varner, I'm going to get sucked into him, I'm sure, this week, but he definitely has good experience here. Guys like Reed, Burns, if you can make birdies, you're going to be in good shape this week. So that's the scorecard. In terms of how these guys got it done last year, you'll see, again, name of the game is gaining off the tee, gaining on approach, and gaining a ton with the putter. So Jim Herman gained 6 strokes putting last year. Billy Horschel gained 7. That's why they were 1-2 in this field. But everyone, even Denny McCarthy, who is not known for his approach game, even he gained 7 strokes on approach. So there isn't much red here in these first 2 columns. So you're really going to have to get it going on that front. But like I said, we're going to need to lean into strokes gained putting on Bermuda, I think, this week if you want to contend. So you can still maybe make the cut even if you lose strokes putting, but you got to be good everywhere else. So in terms of a quick look at the odds, so these were just released. So Webb is coming in as your betting favorite, 10-1. Hideki is now in this field, so he is 14-1. He almost won the playoff yesterday with everyone bowing out, hitting in the water. Hideki almost made a 25-footer for birdie, which would have sealed the deal for him on the first playoff hole. Fortunately, he lipped it, so Ancer stays alive. Birdie's the next. We're in good shape, but I'm going to relive this in my mind all week. So Hideki, your second favorite, 14-1. Louis, 16. Patrick Reed, 20. Kokrak, 22. Brian Harmon, who seems to be always at the top of these things, even though he hasn't been playing very well, 22-1. Zalatoris is kind of interesting, for sure. Probably take a close look at him if we're going to go up this high. But, like, to me, like, all of these guys here are, like, almost exactly the same as guys further down. So we'll probably take a couple of them, but, like, you know, guys that are a little bit deeper. Hank Lebioda's back. Patton Kizzire makes a ton of birdies. Doug Gim, that trap that we fall for every week. Harold Varner is 90. So, like, to me, like, some of these guys don't have a drastically... Doc Redmond is 130. Like, these guys down here are probably just as likely to win as these guys in, like, the 40 to 50 range. So we'll just kind of lean on the model this week and take some flyers. I don't see myself betting anyone under 20-1 this week. There's just no reason to, but we'll take a look at the model, see what that tells us, and go from there. So anyway, that's our first look video for the Wyndham Championship. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys are basking in your pile of cash from Abraham Ancer over the weekend. Just love that guy. I'm still fired up about it. So hopefully you guys are getting something out of all of this. And as always, if you like the content, if you like the video, subscribe to my page, give the video a like. Shout outs in the comments are always much appreciated. And we will talk tomorrow with our model breakdown and betting card for the week. So talk soon, guys.